That fella couldn't do anything. He couldn't even kneel to pray. And he got saved. Are you saved? That fella couldn't join the church. He couldn't join the church. He couldn't get baptized. He couldn't get baptized. He woke up with God. He woke up with the devil. Are you saved? So that fella didn't take the sacraments, didn't take the sacraments. Didn't say the rosary, didn't take the rosary. Didn't tithe, didn't tithe. He went to heaven, he went to hell. You saved? Didn't keep the law, he didn't keep the law. He broke the commandments, he broke the commandments. He didn't keep the golden rule, he didn't keep the golden rule. He woke up in glory, he woke up in the pit. Are you saved? You're saved. If you're not saved, you're over here or you're over here. You sure ain't in the middle. He said, Lord, remember me, thou comest thy kingdom. And Jesus turned to him and said, verily I say unto thee, today shalt thou be saved. It's like that. You have been saved? If you ever saved, you were saved like that.
All right. In this video, I want to talk about the problem of competitive man. Because we as mankind, we're very much caught up into being animals and cavemen, where we're very competitive and wanting to be alpha and top dog. And this is ultimately what our downfall is, because we look at everything as a competition, and because of this, it hinders our ability to actually be saved, because when you're in that competitive nature, it's all about ego and success, winning, and of course, not failing and not losing, right? So it's always about an upward trajectory, exalting yourself, right? And you do this even if it's just starting with something like a lie you tell yourself to push yourself, to keep yourself going, right? Like you tell yourself you're the best, right? Or you tell you some kind of reinforced idea about how great you are, right? The whole fake it till you make it thing, right? So you can't accept defeat and loss and accept the fact that when it comes to spirituality and your relationship with God, you don't deserve heaven, and there's nothing you can do to deserve it. You deserve hell, and there's nothing you can do to change that either. You can't save yourself. But since we just grow up starting off being taught that we are nothing more than animals that just evolved, and that we used to be cavemen, and we got to compete to be the best, when it starts with something as simple as children, right? Two brothers competing to get their father's approval. Two sisters competing to get their father's attention, right? It starts off with that, right? And then it grows up to something like the two sisters competing to get the attention of a young fella there. The brothers competing in sports, both brothers and sisters competing in academics, right? Better grades and stuff. And you got this constant competition and drive to be the best, so that you can land the best job and have the higher social status and make the most money, right? Because it's not about, just being you and being, content and having some joy. No, it's a constant improvement, moving forward, or you're falling backwards. If you're not first, you're last kind of attitude and mindset. And we get really caught up in this where it comes out in everything, right? Oh, the school I went to, the college I went to, number one, better than anybody else's, and my sports team is way better than esports teams. I hate the Yankees. I hate the Cowboys, right? You know, they hate their rival teams that they go against, right? And they get validated when their team wins, when they're not even part of the team, but they feel good when their team wins. But if their team loses, it ruins their whole day. It ruins their whole week. You know, when it comes to something like football, for example, they play once a week, so they feel like crap for the whole week because they vicariously live through the team, and their coworkers and everything will rag on them when their team lost, but when they win, then they can spend the whole week bragging, right? Because we got this super competitive nature, and I know I've been going on and on about it, but I'm just trying to lay down this framework and foundation here to show you that this carries on into our religious life, where a lot of people, their Christianity is a competition against other Christians, where they think, oh, I'm more approved by God because I'm keeping his law better than you are. I'm going to church on the correct Sabbath day. I do the sacraments every week. I say my Hail Marys and Our Fathers every day. Oh, I wear a suppleture all the time. I put the mark of the beast ashes on my forehead on the Wednesday, and I wore it all day. Right? It's always this competition. And because of this competition mindset, they can never actually come to the cross to be saved, because it takes humility to admit you're damned. You're not good enough. Everything you've been doing has been a complete and total waste of time. Your righteousness, as Isaiah puts it, is as filthy rags. Right? That's what it is. It's trash. Because for starters, a lot of it is because you're doing it because you're just competing against other people. That doesn't make you a good person. You're just trying to appear better than someone else. Also, you do it because you're trying not to go to hell. You're trying to earn heaven. That doesn't make you a good person. You're just doing it for yourself. A good person does it because it's the right thing to do, not to get some kind of reward and so that they don't get punished. Right? And it's this competitive mindset that people have, that they think accepting this, it makes them some kind of loser. They lost the game, and now, they don't deserve, the top mate, right? Because they're thinking like an animal. Who's gonna want to be with me because I'm a loser, right? And all this stuff that I've been doing in life to get a social status and wealth is meaningless. And that means, again, they lost, right? And that means they have to eat humble pie. Right? And that's why a lot of times when you talk to people and you talk to them about the gospel, they will say weird things like, oh, you think you're better than me? You think you're better than everybody else? And it's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm a sinner, just like you, just like everybody else. And I've admitted that I can't save myself. I'm at peace because I've come to the cross and accepted Jesus Christ's sacrifice for me and his free gift of salvation, his free gift of eternal salvation, where it's not about me. I don't have to win. I don't have to get the victory because Jesus got the victory and he freely gives it to me. I don't have to earn it. I don't have to deserve it. I can just live in it because of God's mercy and grace, because it's all about him and his spirit, and not about my strength and power and might or anything like that. And I've eaten that humble pie. And I'm encouraging you and everybody else to do the same thing. And if you think that means that I'm better than you, that's showing your heart what's going on with you, because how does this make me better than you? I don't think I'm better than you. I never said I was. So if you got that mindset, it just proves what I'm saying here about this competitive mindset, right? That's how they all see this whole thing. It's like the game of life, right? And they want to win. But it's just like any other kind of board game, right? The game of life or Monopoly or something like that. Chutes and ladders or whatever. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. When the game's over, and that's that, You're still you. The whole family's still the family. It's not as if, okay, you lost chutes and ladders, Billy. Nobody loves you anymore. Matter of fact, you got to get out of the house. That's not how it is. It doesn't matter if you lost. No one cares. If you won, it's like, yeah, you won, but whatever. Who cares? Right? And not to mention, we actually do way better off if we're actually cooperating together. Right? And I've always found it weird how Christians have gotten so caught up into this capitalistic mindset of this competition, right? About you don't work, you don't eat, or go get a job, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And it's like, that sounds nothing like Jesus and the apostles and what they taught and how they lived. As a matter of fact, that seems very much the opposite. Could you imagine the people who followed Jesus for 3 days without eating? And he's like, all right, you all got to go get a job so you can get some food. Imagine if he didn't do a miracle of feeding them all with just a few loaves of bread and some fish. He's just like, nope, we free bread, get out of here. You don't work, you don't eat. You imagine that? It would be a completely different story, wouldn't it? And then when he left, the apostles and disciples, they all sold everything they had and they used it to help everybody. Not just, the clergy, the bishops, the priests. Everybody got help from it. They took care of everybody. Right? How it ought to be. Oh, that's not right, right? Because the whole competitiveness where it's like these people are like, I put all this work into my job and I get this money, and you think you're going to get any of it for free, or you get a free lunch or anything like that. And, I understand it. You work for it. That's your money. You do what you want with it. I understand. But then the Christian mindset is, well, Jesus did all the work for salvation, so you think you get it for free? No. Right? Imagine if that was Jesus' mindset. I did all the work. Why should you get any of it? Right? But you see, that's not how Jesus is. Now, I'm not sitting here promoting communism or socialism, because man is sinful. So even if we had some kind of communistic, socialistic state where we helped everybody out, it wouldn't work out well for that long, because we're all sinful creatures. And the government that would be in charge of taking care of all the finances and food would take advantage of that and just store it for themselves, because we're greedy people. So it's not so much that the system is evil and wrong, but we are. Kind of like what we're told in Hebrews about the law. The law wasn't the problem. The old covenant isn't necessarily the problem. The problem is the reason why Jesus had to do away with that old covenant was because of us. Because we couldn't live up to it. We couldn't do it. Right? That was the issue. So, yeah, that's how I see something like communism. I don't see it as evil. I see it we as a people are evil. We can't be trusted with being in charge of the whole nation's goods and to distribute them evenly to everybody. Because then we could easily benefit ourselves. Right? At the expense of others. But, yeah, I just think it's weird. This, not so much, people being competitive, but Christians with this super competitive nature. It's like, I don't understand how you can say you're a Christian, which means you follow Jesus, you're looking to Jesus, and then you can act in a way and talk in a way that is completely contrary to the way he lived and taught. It's kind of like, have you even just read the Bible at any point in your life? I mean, at least the Gospels, you read about the life of Jesus? Because it doesn't seem like you have. Because I don't understand how you could actually do that unless you're, I guess, what would you call like a plant, a shill, You have an agenda, you're being deceptive, a wolves in sheep's clothing, a goat, or a Judas goat there, you're being deceptive. Because that makes no sense. No sense at all. But, yeah. I guess to wrap this up, I would say that it reminds me of something that was going on years ago where someone was taking like ideas and stuff that I was putting in videos and preaching about, and they were copying it. And somebody brought it to my attention like, hey, yeah, they're copying your videos. They're basically doing the same thing or whatever. And I was just like, it doesn't matter. And they were like, well, they're getting even more views than you and everything. And it's like, well, good. All right, good. Because to me, I'm not in any competition with that person. And I don't own what I'm putting out there. I'm just sharing the truth. And if somebody wants to take it and take credit for it and share it with others, and people would rather listen to that person than me, and that truth gets out through them better than it gets through me, that's fine by me. Right? I don't care. Right? And that's how it ought to be. Because there's even times where you can say, like, I share some Ruckman shorts and some Ruckman sermons. Right? You say I'm like leeching off of him or something like that. And it's like, whatever. I'm sharing the truth. I don't need to get credit for it. Ruckman's dead and gone, but hey, hopefully he's still getting some blessings for that, getting more rewards for that. And I can help him get that by sharing what he was already preaching, right? I don't need to get rewarded for it. The truth gets out. That's what matters, right? And that's how we need to look at it, to see it, right? And yeah, I guess that is that. I just noticed some things going on right here, so I guess it's a good time to wrap up the video. But thank you for your time and attention. I appreciate it. May God bless you and yours. Let this go to my splice video now. Alright, it's the end of the video. And I figured I would do an ending segment to my video so I don't have to keep repeating myself. But I do want to remind you to do what Isaiah said to do and seek out the book of the Lord and read it, putting line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, doing what Paul said, and studying the word, showing yourself approved unto God, rightly dividing the word of truth. And if you read English, that would be the KJV. And then do what John has Jesus recorded telling the church of Philadelphia, and keep his word, preserve it, protect it, hide it in your hearts, and not deny his name. And then Jesus will never be able to tell you do err not knowing the scriptures, and he'll keep you from the hour of temptation, which is going to come upon all those that dwell upon the earth here shortly. And with that being said, I'd like to ask you for your support. You watching the video all the way to the end helps out a lot, but if you could like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, share the video, share the channel, interact in the comments section. These things help out a lot, especially with people telling me that their likes are not being registered, that they get unsubscribed, and all kinds of other ways being shadow banned. Your help in this way was greatly appreciated. And if you're able to give me a little bit more time and pray to our Heavenly Father that he keeps this ministry going and he uses it to reach those who he wants to reach, to get the truth out to the world, to make it a bright light, and to feed his sheep, to feed his children, even to bring forth more children, and that he would watch over all of us, his born-again believers, and take care of us, provide for us, and protect us, even after he comes and gets us, which looks like it's going to be real soon. And just to amen in Jesus' name to that should be all we need. But if you could help out some more, I know times are rough and they look like they're getting rougher, but if you're able to support financially, there's a few ways you can do so in the info description box, such as PayPal, Venmo, and there's a couple other ways you can support if you so choose to do so, which would make sure I can keep this ministry going longer than the foreseeable future, because this kind of support has been drying up there. It's pretty much non-existent lately. So if you could help out in that way, it would be greatly appreciated to make sure I can keep doing this. But if you could at least pray, I know God will provide. And sometimes it's a change of ministry, so maybe it won't be a ministry online anymore. But hey, if you want to keep seeing this stuff, pray. And with all that being said, thank you so much again for your time and attention, for watching this video all the way through. I appreciate it. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one, and may God bless you and yours.